Hi, my name is Dina Alsamak. I'm a graduating student of the iBiomed program here at McMaster University. I'm also the co-founder of Power of Play, and we are creating a medical device to measure grip strength for pediatric rehabilitation patients. So as an entrepreneur at the very start of my career, it's an absolute honor and pleasure to be sitting down with distinguished MacEng alumnus and honorary doctorate recipient and innovator, Ali Oradi. And we're going to be talking about his entrepreneurial journey and his road to success.
Thank you for having me. I'm a Mac grad. I've been in Silicon Valley for 20 plus years. I moved there in the late 90s during the internet boom. I've worked for big companies, founded 2 startups, deeply in technology and the fitness sector, and it's exciting to be here with you today.
So this is actually a quote that I really, really like. It's my favorite quote, and it goes, entrepreneurship, it's by Howard Stevenson, and it goes, entrepreneurship is the pursuit of opportunity beyond resources and circumstances currently controlled. So when I first heard that, I really connected to it. And I wanted to learn more about, like, what is your experience with that idea? So what did carrying this venture and starting it from scratch look like in terms of, when you have very limited resources?
When you start a business, when you're starting a business for the very first time, it is opportunity beyond resources, but it's also fueled by passion and faith. The bigger challenge is that you're pursuing something that is unproven. So a lot of what's fueling you is this idea, this vision that you have, that you want to go do something that you're not sure is possible, and a lot of other people don't even believe is true. Your greatest resource is yourself, and the ability to work hard and use ingenuity and innovation to solve something and prove to yourself that it's worth getting up the next day and doing more of it, and getting to something amazing. So you're building momentum and it feeds on itself. But I think we underestimate the difference between hard resources like money or time or equipment, and passion and vision as a resource to propel something that isn't really tangible yet.
How did you find your purpose and your passion in Tonal? Like, what did that story? How did that play out?
Well, my personal story for Tonal is that, I was always a technologist. I started programming at a young age. I was born to be an engineer, right? I told my parents this as a kid. Both my parents are engineers. I went into engineering school young because I was so excited to get to engineering school. I wanted to race my way through high school. And so the technology part was always natural to me. And by the time I was starting Tonal, I didn't know I was going to start Tonal, but by that point in my life, I was really unhealthy. I was overweight. I was diagnosed with pre-diabetes, type 2 diabetes, sleep apnea. And so I knew that if I didn't get my health under control, I was never going to, it was one of my last opportunities. It felt like my health was heading to a point of no return. And so I actually focused a big portion of my life on getting healthy. And I lost weight and beat the sleep apnea and became really passionate about fitness. Then I'm sitting on a bench at the gym one morning at 5 a.m. Staring at this giant cable crossword machine. I was like, this thing is huge. Why is this so big? And can I just get one of these in my home so I could work out at home instead of coming to the gym every morning? And that's when it hit me that I could shrink it down, I could make it smart, I could create the most perfect piece of fitness equipment. So this is where my passions intersected, my passion for technology and electronics and my passion for fitness. There were skeptics everywhere. Everyone would tell me, there's no way this is going to work. No one's going to buy this. Are you sure you can do this? But when you know, you have a passion and a drive, you figure it out. And the worst thing that will happen is you'll find out you were wrong.
Every entrepreneur faces setbacks, right? That's indefinitely part of the process. So what did that experience look like for you, especially in the earlier stages where everything's very ambiguous? How did you kind of identify the setbacks, but also find the courage to get back up and to move forward?
You want to go attack the biggest points of risk because you either want to fail fast or you want to get past those big things so they don't bite you later.
Right.
And so a lot of the setbacks that entrepreneurs sometimes face would have been avoidable if they had taken a mindset of reducing risk early on.
De-risk it as much as possible earlier on. Now you're working through the hurdles. I totally get that.
Without a doubt, try to kill your business as early as possible because if you can't kill it, and you're really trying, right? then you know you really have something there. When you have a really, really big team, they hinge on your every word. And so imagine you get onto a meeting with your brand team and they're about to show you the next ad that they filmed and they're super excited, but you're not because you're thinking about this legal meeting you just had, right? How do they feel? You just let them down as a leader. And so you have to give everything its due, and it takes work. So you're constantly building clarity. And so, if you talk about it as like you have this ball of risk that you're chipping away at, you also have this clarity that you're building over time. You get to a point where, a decision lands on your desk and you instantly know the answer, right? But you're building clarity, you're collecting data along the way. And if you're not building clarity along the way, you probably should shift more energy into that.
Right, of course. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Great insights. I learned so much.